Hi, my name is Tiana Karamayas and I'm a Cavoodle puppy coach and breeder for Noodle Way and River City Puppies. As a coach, my philosophy is simple. A Cavoodle should always complement your lifestyle, not complicate it. And this is the foundation to everything I teach. For almost the past decade, I have been working in the breeding, training, grooming, and veterinary sectors of the small animal industry. I've also been raising Cavoodles for the past 16 years, so I have definitely learned a thing or two about the breed along the way. Now this podcast is all about Cavoodles. Raising Cavoodles, training Cavoodles, grooming Cavoodles, breeding Cavoodles, and how to shape the behavior of a Cavoodle puppy. So, if you're a Cavoodle parent or you are looking at adding a Cavoodle to your family soon, then this podcast is for you. New episodes will be released each Tuesday morning, and you can follow me across all social media under the name @OodleWay for more tips and advice on Cavoodles. Thanks for tuning in. Hello and welcome back to the Cavoodle Coach podcast. My name is Tiana Karamayas and I'm your host and your Cavoodle puppy coach. And today is another episode in my Cavoodle Basics series. And I don't know how many episodes this little series is going to go. It's just going to be however many episodes I have where I am answering the most common questions people Google about Cavoodles. And today's one is, can Cavoodles live in apartments? Which is a fantastic question because so many families, so many couples, so many individuals live in apartments or townhouses these days, obviously cost of living being so high. And I don't want any of these families, people, individuals, couples to feel like they don't have the option to get the puppy of their dreams. And I'm happy to let you know that Cavoodles can absolutely live in apartments with no worries, no trouble at all. We just have to take a few extra considerations for them and what we are doing with them each day. So first, let's talk about the toileting issue. So what do we do with the toilet training? Is that going to be a problem? Absolutely not. The good thing about a puppy is when you bring them home, if you follow a good toilet training routine, your puppy can be toilet trained to anything. And so if you are in an apartment, you can easily toilet train them to go on a couple of patches of grass on a balcony or in a room, the bathroom, the laundry, wherever you're going to pop these grass patches without any trouble at all. So the toileting issue is not an issue at all. And it is very possible. And I have helped, I think by now, probably at least 50 plus families toilet train their Cavoodle puppies in an apartment with no trouble at all. So it's entirely possible, and it's not going to be any more difficult than if you were toilet training a Cavoodle to a backyard if you lived in a house. So that's the first thing. We can put that little worry aside. Your puppy can be toilet trained in an apartment without an issue in the world. However, let's talk about what can happen with a Cavoodle who lives in an apartment versus perhaps in a house. So the first thing that we have to be aware of is when we are living in an apartment with a dog, we are living in close quarters. And so that means you are typically sharing a wall with your neighbors. Whereas in a house, you have your own freestanding house and there's a bit more room between you and any neighbors. And so if you are sharing a wall with your neighbors and you're living in such close proximity to them, it's really important that if you are going to get a dog, if you are going to get a Cavoodle, that we don't get any noise complaints from our neighbors. So that means we have to make sure that our Cavoodle doesn't bark and we have to train them not to bark. And this is especially important if you are living in an apartment. And I did an episode talking about this, why if Cavoodles bark a lot and how to stop them from barking a few episodes ago. So if you are interested in learning about that, just skip back a few episodes. You can listen to that episode. I go into detail about whether or not Cavoodles bark, what causes them to bark, and how to train them not to bark. That's the first thing we have to be aware of if our Cavoodle is living in an apartment. The second thing we have to be aware of if we have a Cavoodle in an apartment is we have to make sure that we are giving our Cavoodle everything they need in a day to feel content and to feel fulfilled. And this does consist of getting them into a good routine and a good schedule for their age, and for the breed that they are. And this is really important because when a Cavoodle is in an apartment, if they were to spend all day, every day in a little apartment and they were not getting physical enrichment, mental enrichment, they weren't getting training, they weren't getting socializing, they weren't getting enough attention from you, that will lead to barking from your Cavoodle. It'll also lead to things like chewing furniture, destroying furniture, weeing and pooing all through the house, crying, digging if there's anything they can dig in, like a pillow, couch cushions, anything like that. And your Cavoodle will not cope. So with an apartment, having it being such a smaller space than a house with a big backyard, we have to take even more care to be following a routine every day with our puppy so that they are happy and content and fulfilled. And if you can make sure your Cavoodle is happy and content and fulfilled, you're not going to have any issues at all with them being in an apartment. Now, when you are doing a routine and a schedule with your Cavoodle puppy, it is definitely going to be a lot more time intensive when they are young, when you are teaching them all these behaviors and all of these really important skills like how to relax on their own, how to interact with people, how to stay calm when visitors come over, how to play with other dogs, etc. And so if you do live in an apartment and you are wanting to get a Cavoodle puppy, I really encourage you to make sure that, number one, make sure you take about a week off work just to help your puppy settle in. Number two, no Cavoodle, whether you're in an apartment or in a house or on a farm or wherever you're living, no Cavoodle can be alone as a puppy for 8 hours a day. So if you are going to get a Cavoodle, you have to make sure that you can come home at lunchtime to feed them, play with them, train them, socialize them, and then you can come back home in the evening after work. And this is really important because just on a basic level, a puppy can't go 8 hours without food. So you have to feed them midway through the day. And so if you want to get a Cavoodle and you live in an apartment, just make sure that either you can come home at lunchtime from work, or you have a neighbor who can go and check on your puppy, a friend, a family member, even a puppy sitter, a pet walker, just someone who can come and interact with your puppy while they are young. Cavoodles they are a companion breed, so they are not designed to be alone all day, every day while you're at work. And so that's really important to keep in mind if you're thinking about getting a Cavoodle. It's not going to work out well if you work 9 to 5 days a week. Your Cavoodle is not going to be happy. So you either have to have family members and you can drop the Cavoodle off there for the day and they can have that interaction with people, or you have to have people coming to your house. And that is really important as well if you live in an apartment. Because in an apartment, your puppy has less space, there is less things to explore, which means there is less natural, physical, and mental enrichment happening in your puppy's daily lifestyle. But like I said, it is very easy for a Cavoodle to live in an apartment if you follow the right routine and the right schedule to teach them how to behave in the apartment and also to make sure that you are meeting all of their individual needs. And so I'd love to help you out if you are getting a Cavoodle puppy, you're living in an apartment, you want to make sure your puppy is getting the right socializing, enrichment, physical enrichment, mental enrichment, play, desensitizing, socializing, enough sleep during the day. You want to get them into a really good routine that allows you to have flexibility with your social life, your work life, for your puppy to be happy when they're alone, happy when they are with you. I would love to invite you to have a look into my Cavoodle Training Academy, because with this program, when I was trying to create this program, I knew that one of the struggles families have is they get a puppy and they have no idea what to do with the puppy throughout the day. They know they need to train the puppy, but they don't know how, and they don't know how to fill their time with the puppy when they are not training them, how to teach the puppy to relax in the home, how to properly play with the puppy, how to properly take the puppy out of the house. And so when I created the Cavoodle Training Academy, I wanted to remove that struggle. I wanted to remove the overwhelm and uncertainty that comes with, oh my gosh, what do I do with the puppy now? And so I created 28 days of daily training and socialization schedules for a family to follow. And these schedules have been specifically designed to meet a Cavoodle's needs so that they are happy and content. And so if you live in an apartment, it is very important that we do the right activities and the right amounts of these activities each day. And so you can join the Cavoodle Training Academy if you are interested, and you can get those 28 days of daily training schedules with videos on how to do each activity. I filmed videos of me with my own Cavoodle puppy doing these activities. And then you can adjust the activities and adjust them around your day depending on when you're at work, when you are out with friends, when you're at home, when you're with the kids, etc., etc. And if you follow these routines and you do the training and you do the socializing and you do the enrichment, the desensitizing, your Cavoodle will learn how to live in an apartment very easily with no problem, no barking, no crying, no digging, no chewing, no destroying furniture, no toileting accidents, and they will just slip into your life like they were always there. That is always the goal with a Cavoodle, and every Cavoodle can do that if you are doing the right things with them every single day. And so my Cavoodle Training Academy will step you through that every day for 28 days, which will transition your puppy into your home and teach them all of the essential skills to actually be happy, quiet, content, calm, and well-behaved. And along the way, just to make sure you get all the help you need, you will be able to join me each week in a weekly group Q&A, and you can ask me any question at all about your puppy, and I will give you personalized advice on what to do with them depending on your life, your lifestyle, and what your puppy is doing. And so I will be there to make sure that your Cavoodle happily lives in your apartment with no troubles, and I will be your Cavoodle puppy coach, which I would love to do. So you can click the link in the show notes if you're interested in the Cavoodle Training Academy. I would love to see you in there. And if you have any questions about it, you can send me an email at hello@oodleway.co, and I can let you know if it's the right program for you and your Cavoodle puppy. So that's it for this episode. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next week for another episode of the Cavoodle Coach podcast. This has been your Cavoodle coach, Tiana Karamayas. I'll see you later. Bye.